Welcome everyone that's coming in to the Mountain View School District presentation. I'm just going to ask anyone who's coming in to please mute their screens and also to turn off the camera during the presentation. So thank you. So it's my honor to introduce the representatives from the Mountain View School District. They will be telling their story today. It's been very inspiring watching them grow and thrive these last few years as a team, and also as they sustain such a successful relationship. So it's my honor to introduce Lillian Maldonado French, Isaac Trujillo, and Laura Gaber.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our presentation. We are the Mountain View School District. We're located in El Monte, California, which is in Los Angeles County. We're not the Mountain View up north. And we're really happy to have you here at this presentation. We're starting this presentation with a picture of us at last year's LMI, a little bit to remind us of what a wonderful experience that was. Here we are, all our board members, our admin, our classified, our certificated, we're all together. And just a little bit to share that that's where we were year two. That wasn't necessarily where we started with. So we thought it was important for us to not only tell you a little bit about what we've been doing lately in terms of our COVID-19 response and how LMI has really helped us, but also to tell you our journey, a little bit about our story, because we remember that first year and really benefited us with hearing from other teams and hearing what they were going through and getting a sense of that. So here's the agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about year one. We're going to spend more time telling you about year two. We're going to tell you how that's really been impacting our time together during our school closures, and a little bit about our lessons learned. So here we are. This is where we started. You can see we're all sitting there. It's our first year, and we're a little apprehensive. We're all wondering what we got ourselves into, but we're also excited about being there. And this first year was really, when we reflect on it, was about building relationships at the district level. Even though we did have a plan to reach out to all of our staff and let them know about LMI, even though we did do some training about our site teams, I think the biggest lesson we got was to meet. We met monthly, no matter what. We met even when we were happy and even when we were not so happy with one another. But it was that building of relationships that helped us really get through that first year. So it really, again, it's collaboration in the key, and you're going to hear more about this. This is kind of our theme about how important collaboration and communication is.
So communication, where Ms. French left off is, we talked how are we going to send this message, and we wanted to send this message to the whole district. So we had our kickoff barbecue at the beginning of the year, and you could see it in that first picture is our superintendent sending the message. Up on stage is board members, teachers, and classified. And we wanted to discuss how we're going to send LMI and our training that we went to. And this was the first, we did it at our kickoff barbecue at the beginning of the year. And we wanted everybody to hear the same message of what LMI is and send it across district-wide.
So one of our first big efforts was a site leader training. So we brought all of the staff, one classified, two certificated, and the principal. Each of the teams from each of the school sites and the maintenance department, we brought them to a site leader training. We did it in a half-day format. So we brought half of the teams in the morning and half of the teams in the afternoon. We're very excited. It was a good kickoff, but we learned a lot of lessons from that particular site leader training that first year.
So after spending a whole year, we realized that we needed to have a better articulated plan. So we got together and I kind of twisted some arms and said, let's do some strategic planning. So we spent 2 full days as a district team doing strategic planning. And from that, we came up not only with our name, the Mountain View partnership for learning, but also this vision. And it really is about, what our vision is, but also how are we going to accomplish it. And it's by putting together those structures to address concerns and tackle issues together. So we can't just assume that it's about meeting, but it's how are we going to meet? What is it that, how are we going to support our teams so they have some tools in order to be able to tackle these challenges and learn how to communicate better with one another?
So we went into year 2, and if you think back to the first picture, that was year 2, and you think about how happy we looked, and we were all huddled together, no social distancing. We learned a lot that second summer, and so one of the things we wanted to do in year 2 was build the bottom of the pyramid and focus on building relationships at the site level. So this time when we did the training for the site teams, we made it a full day training. So we brought half the district in one day and half the district in the other. We really wanted to provide the time for them to build that team the whole day and build communication and work on their problem solving skills. We gave them a toolbox, which you'll see in a minute, and we really wanted them to not leave. Well, Isaac will go into that a little bit more, but not leave until they had a plan for the year. Then we made a plan to have site visits where the district leadership team would go into the sites after they were up and running and meet with those teams. And again, Isaac will elaborate on that. And then we wanted to bring them back at the end of the year again for another check-in. Of course, March 13th rolled around, so we'll have to do that next year. But we also gave them some opportunities to attend the LMI workshops. We took 4 schools to the ABC training and 4 schools to the Downey, not training, but convening. And it was, we were doing a good job really working on the site level. We really wanted them to leave their training with the toolbox completely full and working through all of these types of tools to bring them together as a strong base to our pyramid.
So here you see some site team training. When we brought them in, we had them work on 2 things. Each school created norms, and also they worked on a calendar. They weren't going to leave without having calendar dates to meet either by association, the classified in the admin, or the certificate in the admin, but they also had to calendar in dates where they were going to meet as classified, certificated admin together to talk and discuss concerns at the site level. And then also, as we here are some check-ins that we did, samples of some coaching, but also as Laura explained and gave, we also wanted to go in and support them. How can we help them with their LMI meetings? Do a little bit of check-ins and support, and also make sure that all stakeholders, if it was the certificated, the classified, or the admin, they all worked on setting an agenda together. That was the focus of LMI, being a stakeholder and bringing all those focus on the agenda, either certificated, classified, or admin. They all make that agenda together so they can have some items to discuss in their meetings.
I want to add, Isaac, because I think it was even your idea that when we went as a district team, it was 1 administrator and 1 labor leader. So it wasn't, we were doing that together. So Isaac and I were a team together. Right. And Isaac was instrumental in making sure we got those teams scheduled and went out there. And I think that really helped because there were folks who connected with them, and there was a sense of trust that we were there to support them. We weren't there to check up on them.
Correct.
So here we are in the idea of LMI in the area of COVID-19. And what we have for you here, we started thinking about what's important to share with you. And I think we all have tremendous stories of how amazing our staff members have been, whether they've been distance teaching or whether they've been working on making sure our kids have devices or food or all those things. And we have amazing photos to share with you. So we're going to share with you some of those pictures. But at the same time, we thought it was important to tell you some stories of how LMI specifically has been a really important key to our success during our closure time. So we're going to tell you our stories while we share the pictures, and we hope that you'll get a little bit of both from us.
So March 13th came around and we got a call at noon, and Isaac and I had to both run down to the district office because we were heading into school closures. So we walked into the room and there was our whole LMI, district LMI team. And we got read in about the information from LACO, et cetera. And next thing you know, we're out and we're trying to work our way around this whole Zoom virtual world. We thought we were only going to be out for 2 weeks. And before you know it, it was 3, and then the rest of the school year. So we're all learning about how to use Zoom and work in the virtual world. And I know halfway through it, Isaac and I both had to expand our Zoom membership so that we could even, the LMI was working not only with the district and us, but also with us and our members. So we started off this time without any MOU, and we were just depending on our relationships and our LMI. But we did have to negotiate MOUs, and Isaac called first and said, I'm all done. Are you going to work on yours? And so I worked with my executive board and my bargaining team, and we developed an MOU. And because of the relationship we had, we did get it settled very quickly. I will confess, we went to the district to finish our MOU face-to-face with Dr. Lovato because the Zoom was just a little too much. But we got it done in one day, and here we are now.
So speaking about negotiations and Zoom, moving forward, CSCA, we just were able also to do negotiations in Zoom and also able to do it in one day. Prior to LMI, we were with the district on a negotiation battle for 2 years. And I don't think if we didn't have LMI, we probably would still be negotiating today. But thanks to LMI, and working with the district and building the collaboration and being able to speak, we were able to successfully meet our negotiations in one day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the story I want to share with you is about a particular school. And this particular school was having challenges even before they came to our site level training. And then once they left site level training, they were struggling a little bit on how to work together through that LMI site team process. There was some challenges, not only with trust, perhaps at the administrative level, but even among the members themselves. So certificated teams, not necessarily as connected to the classified teams. And what was great is that they had several opportunities to do some site level meetings prior to closure. And they had opportunities to meet with the district coaching teams as well. And just that little boost that happened right before they closed made all the difference. They continued to meet, they continued to work through their challenges, and they had that extra support that they were able to push through the challenges they've had. And now they're in such a great place. It's been really wonderful watching them all continue to meet, continue to work together and see how they were able to break through, even though they're virtual. This is a different group, and there's our Mr. Isaac Trujillo. He's this is his site team. We wanted to share with you that our LMI site teams continue to meet, even if they're virtual. And that continues to be an important part of how we have been able to work through our challenges during COVID-19 closures. So here are some lessons learned. I think this is you, Laura.
So just that it's only been really just coming on 2 years since we even started this conversation. And that first time in San Diego at the table with the 8 of us was just, we didn't believe it could be done. I must admit, I was kicking and screaming to go down to San Diego that first summer 2 years ago. And I just look back on how far we've come. We were sure it wasn't going to work, right, Isaac? We were at that
Definitely.
table.
Definitely. Laura and I were saying, you know, our membership is going to think that we sold ourselves to the darkness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could see it was a risk. It was a real risk for our association leaders to even be there, because they don't want to be perceived as not supporting their union goals. But it really was about how can we meet those union goals, and how can we have that collaborative relationship even among the members. So I'm really impressed, and I have to thank you both for doing that.
So here we are, and this is how we're approaching the whole concept of coming back to school in the fall with the task force. So it's been amazing. We are in the middle, right in the middle of the task force, and it's really hard because around us districts are already coming out with their plan, and we're trying to really communicate and take it slow and steady, and we're right in the middle of the process. So it started with, Isaac's going to talk about how we started the task force.
So starting the task force and going on to the task force is what, before even starting the task force, Laura and I called one another and said, hey, we're in COVID. How are we going to keep our membership informed? So one of the ways we were doing this was by weekly communication. Both of us were meeting, of course, different times, but we both were meeting with the superintendent, meeting with our HR, meeting with our different departments. And through that, we created newsletters to keep our communication and keep our membership up to date. And then the task force, our superintendent came back with us and said, this is the plan LACO established. And also, she did a big Zoom meeting district-wide. It was both classified and certificated. It was a town hall meeting, actually, that both were invited to. And through this, we said, these are the task forces, and there's going to be subcommittees, and weekly meetings get scheduled at a certain date and time.
So now we have all these subcommittees, and they're meeting every Tuesday for an hour. And I'm on the instructional subcommittee, and there are leaders from the association and from the district who are leading those each of those breakout subcommittees. And we're really doing the work together. And we're having these meetings weekly, and we're surveying our stakeholders. And each week we're sharing the information. You'll see that in a moment. So these subcommittees are going to be giving recommendations to the school board, of course, but it's just really being done in the LMI manner where the communication is wide open and everyone was welcome to come to these meetings, and they are. There are a lot of participants.
Yeah, we have over, I think, 100 participants right now. I'm on the Early Learning Head Start subcommittee. I think, Isaac, you're doing office protocols.
Correct.
And
we're
so,
meeting,
go ahead.
We're meeting weekly, and we're discussing how office communications with the community, parents, and also supporting children in the office.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, and not only, and again, and by the way, these folks are volunteering their time, some during the summer. But what we're able to do is go a little deeper into each of these areas. So at the same time that we're getting information at the state and county level, we're trying to put it together into our context. And we know that not everyone can make these meetings. So we're committed to sharing with everyone. So every week we put together a little update, and this goes to all district employees, all members. And we're also surveying and working with our parents as well. So the idea is to keep our parents informed, focus on what it is that we need to do at the beginning of the school year. How can we make sure that we start in a very supportive and collaborative manner, and getting this information out to everyone on a weekly basis so that we're all on the same page when we get started. It's challenging because sometimes we have a lot of unknowns. You know, sometimes you don't know, you don't have all the information in one particular area, but maybe you can work in other areas. Maybe you can find ways of supporting one another differently. So that's what we've been trying to do. It's been a great process. So here we are. I love this proverb, you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So our process has been slow and steady, but I think that we are really taking some time thinking about all those equity issues, all those important things that we need to think about in order to make our reentry successful and positive. All right.
Thank you, Mountain View. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
So are there any questions? If anyone would like to ask a question, please remember to unmute yourself. And and if you'd like, you can also take off the camera and raise your hand if you want, or if you want to just unmute and ask a question, that's fine too. Any questions or comments out there?
These are many of our own staff members. I'm sure
These many Mountain View, well, they're very proud. They should be very proud of what you've done.
I just want to say, you can't see my hand raised. This is Nellie. I just want to say a job well done. They did a great presentation, and I just want to thank them for doing this. I know it wasn't easy to be on Zoom and to put themselves out there, like being on a camera. It's like being a first time on a stage. So I want to thank our superintendent, Lillian French, Laura Gaber, and Isaac Trujillo. So this is Nellie once again. So I just want to thank them, and I think they did a great job. Thank you.
You did a very good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Jacqueline?
I just wanted to say that I guess I've been involved through all the different activities you guys have done, but hearing it from this perspective just really made it more clear as to everything that's been going on. And you guys have done a great job, and you've really done a lot over these last couple of years. And so I'm glad that I chose to come to your presentation. It was a real eye-opener for me. So thank you.
Good.
Okay, I think Ruby has her hand up.
I just wanted to add, just like Jaquala, I'm on the task force and I'm with the union. And I like to say that through it all, everything that you're seeing, the presentation, I am a witness to that is happening at Mountain View, and I'm glad to be a part of it. This, you know, as far as the union and working with our superintendent and board members, and like Jaquala said, to see the presentation, we're here as witnesses that is going on, and the collaboration between our unions, Isaac, Laura, our weekly updates, you know, like with anything, communication is the key. To get through this, we have to work together. Like the presentation from this morning, we need to be proactive, not reactive. So I commend all of them on the presentation, and I just feel like I'm glad to be a little part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, Mountain View, you did a great job. And if anyone thinks of anything later, you know, you can always send messages through, oh, somebody just raised their hand. Cindy.
It's a clap.
No,
Oh, clapping. Oh, it's a clapping. Sorry. Didn't put my glasses on. Yeah. So yeah, you guys did a wonderful job, and you should be so proud. So I know we're ending a little bit early, but that's okay.
I think there's a
We have a
question.
raised hand from Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy, where? Oh, I didn't. Oh, there he is. Jeremy. We've got two raised hands, actually. Go ahead, Jeremy. Can you hear me?
I think he needs to unmute him.
Yeah, Jeremy, can you unmute?
You might have to unmute him.
Oh, let's see if I can unmute him. I'm not happening on my, oh, let's see. It's not happening on my end. Let me see if I can unmute him.
Oh, there he is.
Are
There
you
you
there,
go.
Jeremy?
Jeremy, we can't hear you, but if you might want to write your question in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat and send it to them. Let me see. Yeah. Wonder why it's not coming on. Let's see. Try it one more time. Mute. Unmute. I guess not. It's not coming up.
He said he's sorry. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. If you have a question, just send it through the chat. Okay. And is there another hand up?
No.
Okay. Okay. So you have lunch now, and then after lunch you go to your roll-alike groups that you scheduled for on your agenda. So any other questions or concerns?
No.
No, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
to all.
everybody.
I want to, by the way, acknowledge we have 2 board members here.
Oh,
I
yes,
really
please.
appreciate we have Veronica Cifuentes and Miss Cindy Wu. And I acknowledge and appreciate their support, because all the way through, in fact, Ms. Veronica Cifuentes was one of our first board members to attend, and all of our board members have cycled through. So they have all attended the San Diego, even if virtually. So I very much appreciate their support. And one of the ways they often support it is they mention it at our board meetings. So LMI is front and present at each of our board members' meetings. And that's an important way of making sure that it's endorsed and supported by everyone, including the board. So thank you, board.
Thank you, Lillian, for sharing that, because that is an important piece.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And I'll just reiterate that a little bit, but I definitely think we're definitely a role model for LMI. Just, you know, I'm the newest to the board, and just from my understanding, I see a great transition, and hearing from everyone else. So definitely yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ms. Veronica, you saw it from the beginning. I don't know if you want to say a few words, or you can unmute. Sometimes this is tricky. Oh, Veronica said, thank you for the opportunities. Absolutely. It's been great. And I think our board governance does model LMI. It's about following our norms. Yes.
Hi, Lillian, it's me. I unmuted myself.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah.
No, I just want to thank everybody, especially because it is something that we started a few years ago. And I think this is a great opportunity for all of us to collaborate. And I think it's something that we're a work in progress. We understand that. And I just want to thank everybody for all our associations and our district leaders that are open-minded and see the need that this was a good opportunity for us to participate in, and I welcome that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we had positive comment from Jeremy.
Yeah,
thank you.
very positive.
We appreciate that. And Alhambra has been doing great work in LMI for a while now too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, enjoy lunch, everyone, and thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Laura hired you.
Laura hired.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.